Hey folks, how's it going today? We are doing something a little special, if you can call it that. For whatever reason, I thought it would be interesting, funny, to pry into people's lives and look up their address online, random people, and send a letter to a random house in all 50 states in the USA. So the reason I wanted to do this is because why did I do this? For a video, because it's interesting. So here's a little letter I wrote right here. This is what I came up with. I said, "Hello, my name is Gabe and I am 27 from Wheeling, West Virginia. I'm trying out an experiment where I have written a letter to a random address in every single state. I like hearing about life in other places than my own, and thought it would be fun to possibly meet someone and hear about life where you live." Now, I'm not that interested, honestly, but like my girlfriend Sarah was, she was watching me do this, and she was like, "Oh, this is going to be so cool," and I was like, "Why? You know, I live in Utah, you know, someone writes a letter, okay." I don't know. Maybe this will be cool. We'll see. I'm going in it with more hopeful than I sound with how cool it might be. So I said, first off, I do apologize if this letter is unwanted. I truly chose this address at random, which that is absolutely true. I'll show you all in a moment how I do that. And I don't know you, and you don't know me. If you choose not to reply to this letter, then you will never hear from me again. What I did to find your address. Here's what I did, folks. We're recording at the same time. What I did to find your address was by going on the internet to Google Maps, and I zoomed into a random city in your state. I think my next state I need to do is Oklahoma, because I just finished Ohio. So see, I just put my mouse on a random spot on Oklahoma. This might be a bad one to do, because there's not much there. But hey, we went right to Oklahoma City, pretty much. Alright, look for a residential area. I then found a random street and used the Street View feature to look at a random house number. So there's a little residential area. We'll pop it right here on Holiday Drive, it says. And now we start house number hunting. So maybe this one here we can find something. Doesn't seem like there's mailboxes on this road. There we go. 1621 Holiday Drive in Norman, Oklahoma. Now, this is readily available information before anybody says I'm showing some random person's home on here. I also want to say that I'm about to go find a different home in Oklahoma. So 1621 Holiday Drive is not going to get a letter from me. So please don't hassle them. Not that I think anybody watching this will. Your home happened to be the house that I randomly zoomed in on out of every single house in your state. I did not save your address in any way nor remember it. That's true, because I'm not going to remember any of it. My brain isn't going to work like that. So again, I'm sorry if this letter is unwanted, as I do not mean to bother anyone who wants to be left alone. Now, in this letter, I make sure to say over and over again, like, I don't mean to bother you. I'm sorry if it's unwanted, because I know there's some paranoid stinkers out there. I mean, somebody's going to get this letter and be sure it's the aliens or something out to get them. So that's why I made sure to go ahead and write this. I don't want anybody pissed off. I also sent it from the P.O. box, so no one has my actual address. Return mail with the P.O. box address. Speaking of which, send us something. We'll open it on video. The P.O. box should be in the description. You might have even seen a little snippet of it in this video at some point. So, however, if you aren't bothered, then it is nice to meet you and thank you for reading. Now, this was a part I had a little bit of time on, because I had to look up facts about West Virginia, because the part of West Virginia I'm in really isn't West Virginia, and I barely know anything about West Virginia. So, but I wanted to tell people about it to kind of try to give them an idea what I want them to do when they write me back. So, life here in West Virginia is pretty peaceful. I moved here back in 2021. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee, and grew up in North Mississippi. Wheeling, West Virginia is the very northern panhandle of the state, wedged right between Ohio and Pennsylvania. I love it here. There are hills and mountains and beautiful scenery. We live right next to the Ohio River, which is nice to me since I grew up on the Mississippi River. Wheeling is known as the Friendly City, and it lives up to its name. Most people I have met here have been very kind. It's also known as Nail City due to it playing a crucial role in our nation's industrial history, with many nail factories. We even have an ice hockey team named after nails, the Wheeling Nailers, who are the affiliate of the NHL's Pittsburgh Penguins. Wheeling was the first state capital of West Virginia, and we have a beautiful suspension bridge that was formerly the largest suspension bridge in the entire world. It's now the oldest suspension bridge still in use in America. I wish I could tell you more about West Virginia itself, but I've not ventured very far into the middle of the state, and I spend about as much time in Ohio and Pennsylvania as I do my home in West Virginia. Anyways, thank you very much for reading this letter. Regardless if you decide to write back or not, it means a lot to me that you took the time out of your day to read this random letter. I want to reiterate that if you do not respond to this letter, then you will, I gotta scroll my screen down, you will never hear from me again, so do not worry about any more letters coming after this one. I really want to reiterate that because there's going to be some people that are, you know, there's out there. I don't think we'll get one, but you never know. 50 random people of all different states in this country, you could get one that's highly pissed that someone wrote them a letter. I'm trying to scam them. So I also put there, I want to mention this is not some marketing gimmick. I'm not trying to sell you anything like that because they're going to think that. I genuinely mailed out 50 letters, one to each state, just because I was curious to see if I would receive a reply. If you would like to reply, I'm putting my address below. I would love to hear about you or what life is like where you are from, but regardless, whoever you are, I hope this letter finds you well and that you have a happy and fulfilling life. Sincerely. And I left a little blank there to, I went, and I'll put a clip of this right now, but I went and signed every single one with my actual name, with a actual, you know, with a pen. And I wrote their state at the very top also, just so that there's like this personal touch on there. So bought 50 stamps, printed 50 letters, 50 envelopes. You know, I'm going to write all of it, drop it all in the mailbox, and we'll see now, folks, what I got back, if anything. Now we wait.
Later.
Hello folks, it's now been 2 months since I sent out the letters, and it only took a week. Looky there. This isn't anything though. This is a return to sender from the state of Washington. So I saw this in there, got excited, it was nothing. Waited around, another week passed, it had been 2 weeks, another week passed. Then we got to a month, and now I'm sitting here about 2 months later, and there's been nothing. So I guess I'll just have to give up, right? Nope. I have started compiling 50 more states, and I'm ready to send them out. But then I'm about halfway through right now. Guess what? Checked it today. This one's not a return to sender. It's addressed to the P.O. box there. To Gabe at the P.O. box. I guess they don't know GA yet. Used a little hummingbird stamp. And I have not opened it yet, folks. You can see it is sealed. Sealed. The funny thing about this, Sarah, you remember where it came from? Mm-hmm. This came out of all 50 states. Could have gotten it from anywhere. It's from West Virginia, the state that I'm already in. This person lives only a couple hours from me. I looked at it, but I don't know anything about this person. This is what this video has led up to. You ready, Sarah?
Yes, sir.
Let's see what we have here. Could just be someone telling us to,
Frig off, burp.
Alright, I don't want to show too much on camera here, but we have a lot of writing. It is handwritten. Let's see, we have, it's on notebook paper. This is 1, 2, and there's a third page that's just totally blank. There's just a blank page here, but we have one and then about half of a page, so this is interesting. Hopefully this can appear on you folks' screen if there's not too much that needs to be redacted here. Dear Gabe, I apologize that it took so long to return your letter. My name is... I can't, let me see, look at the... I'm thinking, and I live in Sutton, West Virginia. I've actually heard of Sutton, West Virginia, because we've looked at doing some interesting videos. Now I live in West Virginia, which is Bigfoot capital. They have the big Bigfoot Fest there and Bigfoot Museum. Let me know below, folks, if y'all want to see this. Go on a Bigfoot expedition with some of the pros. That could be very fun, couldn't it?
Yes,
I've had that idea for a while. I want to make that happen. I know Sutton is like the Flatwoods Monster Museum. They're the town like right over from Flatwoods where it all happened. Okay, anyways. So that's interesting we get one from there, and it's interesting it randomly landed on there because every one of these was random. My family and I moved here 21 years ago from Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm a fan of Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Except for the team there that took my beloved Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah.
We ran a motel for several years and are now semi-retired. Sutton is the exact center of the state. We have a large recreational lake that is very popular in the summertime. Along with fishing, boating, and a beach area, you can rent houseboats, and it hosts several bass tournaments every year. Sutton itself was around during the Civil War. It's hard for me to read cursive, folks. Sorry. Y'all are probably seeing this on your screen and like, why can't he read it? I learned cursive. I know how to write in cursive. It's just some of it gets scratchy for me. So it was around during the Civil War. Yeah, I think it was a big part of the Civil War, if I remember correctly, battles there. And a large portion of it was burned by the Confederate Army. Nearby, Bulltown was the scene of a Civil War battle and can be visited. It's still possible to see the trenches where the Union Army made their stand. That's interesting. We went to Gettysburg recently and we could still see the trenches there. That was kind of cool. Life is pretty laid back here, and most of the people are friendly and helpful in the country way. Or in the country way, I guess. Unfortunately, there is also a large drug problem. Well, you live in the middle of West Virginia. I would think so, but it's good drug problem. There's drug problems everywhere. It's different than the ones I came from Memphis, Tennessee. We have seen many people who have died. Their children have died. Lives have been destroyed, and a lack of the family values that we took for granted in Utah. I hope this is helpful to your experiment and is not too late. I've been saying the name this whole time. I should probably redact the name while we're doing this, you know?
Probably.
So, yeah, I don't know the name. I'm guessing it's a female, wouldn't you? Based on that, I think that's the name, but that's all I have. So let me know in the comments, should I write back or should I think I should write back, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a successful experiment. Wrote 50 states, we got one answer, and I was all ready to write 50 more. I did not want to do that again. That was very time consuming. Did not enjoy the process. But look at that. Reaped our reward. We're going to have to keep that hanging on the wall or something, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yep. So, thank you folks for watching. Let me know if you want to see any other kind of experiments like this in the future. And we'll see you folks next time. Bye, folks.